Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Nick here again with your daily crypto news and opinion. I thought it would be fun to do a throwback to the intro I used to use on YouTube since we're partying like it's 2021 all over again. Now, if you look at the screen for the weekly view, you can see that old coins are going crazy. It also looks great for the everyday. On the everyday, we could see that a lot of old coins are now worth over $10,000. And a lot of them are utility plates. Then the most crazy thing about today is how quickly Bitcoin woke up. And this is something I've been talking about for a few weeks now, right? We were going to teleport to 120K as soon as we broke through the earlier highs. Bitcoin is worth almost $117,000 at the moment, a new high point. The amount of trading is crazy. The best thing about this is that Ethereum is about to break $3,000 and is doing better than Bitcoin every week by more than 2 times. XRP is also going up to about $2.57. That makes us happy. XLM is up a lot since last week. XRP is up a lot since last week. 26.9% HBAR is also up 24.8% in the last week. And I've also been paying attention to SUI. SUI is up about 16.5%. But seriously, these are huge wins so far. And the best part is that this is just the start. The start. I want to say right now that if you're feeling a little scared, don't rush into anything out of fear of missing out. FOMO. Once more, just wait. There will be more chances. We ask that you please wait a little longer. Seeing all of this is very exciting. And let me restart just to make sure everything is correct when we move over to the overall market back here. We are now at a level of greed. This is another reason why I want us all to be a little more careful here. Still, 30 out of 100 for old coin season. So, 30 out of 100 for old. More and more, old coins are taking center stage. Market value of $2.63 trillion. And of course, we could see all the gains for all coins over the course of 24 hours. Baggerand is also up 15% today and 23% in the last week. That would be great to see. In general, though, this is how quickly things can change. I have one last thing I want to say to all of you. Congratulations to those who listened, because that's all I've been saying for the past few weeks. Why aren't we positive right now? Even though price action was slow and dull, I kept telling people that we were going much higher and that July would be a great month for crypto. Also, guess what? We're very optimistic, we're up, and prices are finally coming. Now, I also said that the most old coins will be coming in since 2021. I agree that that is beginning, and I think it all starts with Ethereum. Really, Ethereum has been crazy for a month now. I mean, it's been up about 15% in the last 7 days, and about 639% in the last month. Into the last month. You might say, Nick, that doesn't mean anything, since it's only 639%. But if we look at this picture as a whole, it's very important because we're now breaking out of all of these highs that we hit in May. So let's say we could break through $3,000 and get back to these levels from November. That would be about $3,300, right? We will teleport to $4,000 just as quickly as Bitcoin did from about 110K to 170 yen. If we can break over $3,300 and close on the weekly above it. In this space, things can happen so quickly that people don't really believe it. But I think this is the beginning of step 2. After phase 2, we move on to alt season. As I already said, the M2 stock is about to blow up even more on July 22nd when the new version comes out. I have 2 words for you, lock in. A lot of people aren't sure what this new release is, to be honest. This is the M2 money supply report that comes out every month. The next big launch date is July 22nd. Right here, you can see what all the times are. The money supply will be released on July 22, August 26, September 23, October 28, November 25, and December 23. So, while we wait for this release, I do think that the M2 stock will be much higher. Why? Because if we look back at the past year, the M2 production has been through the roof. There has been more M2 released in the last year than there was a year ago. There is now more M2 than there was a year ago. Considering all the talk about rate cuts, rate talks, and what the Fed is going to do, I do think that this next report will be very important. That's not all. We already know that the Fed has been using a lot of cash. They have been making money. I also believe that the next update will be very good for crypto. Why? Because Bitcoin follows the M2 supply, that's why. In this video from Call and Talks Crypto, we compare the world M2 money supply to Bitcoin. Ethereum needs to catch up to global M2 right now. How? Bitcoin is getting out of the reversed head and shoulders pattern that has been going on for 7 months. The next part of the climb should be rough. The global M2 has been going up for almost 6 months now. As you can see, it's not going to either. They're going to keep making money. This is already set up in the world system, but over here, we have the global M2 chart next to the Bitcoin chart. BTC is orange and M2 is yellow. Okay, if we really think about it, Bitcoin should get a big boost to 120 or 130K from where it is now, which is just over $100 and almost $17,000. We have been behind on the M2 stock for about 84 days now. Okay. And if we keep doing this, we should be able to push Bitcoin to $150,000, which is almost $80,000. This is a very strong sign, and it will happen by October at the latest. If we want to follow this and fall behind it, the time frame for this is roughly October to November, but it's very bullish to pay attention to the M2 supply. We have been following it, as I said. This is what Bitcoin looks like. Guys, I've never seen a more beautiful setup in this room. My attention has been more on the 3 days now. This is what the 3-day looks like when we look at these trend lines. That clear break goes all the way back to the end of June. Today is June 30, which means the end of the month. The price broke above the upper trend line and closed above it. 3 3-day candles in a row, we closed above this trend line. Bitcoin's 3-day candle is now one of the most strong ones in a very long time. Just this candle is 7.86%. That was the last time we had a positive candle like this, which was when we were first breaking out in 2024. Yes, these 3-day candles are strong. As an example, some of these are about 8% to 8.6%. But I'm only talking about how things are set up here for Bitcoin in general. Things are set up here for Bitcoin in general. This kind of squeeze and big rise happened on the chart last time in October and November. That means Bitcoin is more bullish right now than it was during the initial, hasty move that took us to all-time highs. Now it's time to find the price. I believe 120K is next. I don't think we'll stop there, but there will be times when prices drop, and we'll take advantage of those times to buy more coins or add to our collection if we were watching. However, this is why I kept saying for weeks that once we start to break out, it will be very strong. This is what the 3-day view of old coins actually looks like. Or I should say, this is what the 3-day view of Bitcoin really looks like. Since we're now going down from these highs at the end of June, this is very good news for old queens. We also have this trend line, which I think we will test again very soon. We hit these lows in May if we break below this trend line. This is equal to about 61.9%. 62%, we'll just add 1 to it. I do believe that we are still selling off. What we really want to see is very severe weakness. The same thing we saw in 2021. We want a chain reaction of Bitcoin control while the price of Bitcoin is high. This will cause altcoins to go through the roof. Also, altcoins look like they will go up a lot. I just went over the results from the last 7 days. This is the XRP USD chart. If we close where we are now in the next 2 days and 21 hours, which is when the weekly candle closes, we will have broken every single weekly high set. It will be the biggest and most strong weekly candle close since we started tracking it here in March of this year. This will also confirm an XRP breakout. I think the next stop is new all-time highs on the macro chart, which will shock almost everyone when the price is found. But XRP isn't the only one. The 3-day HBAR also looks great. What's great about this is that we are almost back at the highs from May, since we have now broken out of this trend line. We want to see this everywhere. The same goes for, say, XRP. XRP is almost back to where it was in May. It's not. But we need to get rid of these highs. Before we go from being very bullish to being extremely bearish, we want to make a higher high. We want these highs to be totally broken because we are in higher time frame resistance until we break out of those highs. and above them, them.